What's going on? Welcome back. Ryan here. In this video, we're talking about option expiration. Okay. So again, I have Thinkorswim loaded up. I have the trade tab. I have Apple as our underlying asset. And I have this option chain, right? And again, it's important to understand that options are contracts, right? Where we have buyers and sellers. And that when you're buying an option, you're paying a price, right, which is the premium of the option, to have the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell that underlying asset at a given price before a certain date, right? So when we come in here and we look at these option expirations, right, we see all of these expiration dates, right? And for example, let's go into the December 23rd, 21, right? That has 3 days left. And we can open this up and we can see that, okay, we have our in the money options. We have our in the money option, we have our enter money calls, in the money puts, at the money puts, at the money calls, out of the money calls, out of the money puts. Okay. Now these options only have 3 days to trade, right? So important to understand that options, the option premium is going to decay over time as it approaches expiration. And this is the defining factor of options, right? Along with the leverage, right? So options are leveraged. Options have, right, the strike price, the premium. But remember, the premium that the purchaser pays for those rights is decaying over time. Now, what does this mean for the seller, right? Well, think about it. If we look at these options and their prices compared to options with more time, right, we can see that these have 88 days until expiration, and we can see that the out of the money options here have much higher prices compared to the options that just have 3 days left and there's actually no premium for these options, right? And another thing that we're going to notice is the options that are in the money are retaining their premium much better. And in a couple videos, we're going to talk in much more detail about this. But just know and understand that options are depreciating assets, right? You're paying a premium for rights, or you're selling obligations to take in that credit, which is the premium. And that over time, that premium is going to decay until there's nothing left. And the option will either be in the money, right? Right? In the money calls here, in the money puts, or it's going to be out of the money where there's no value and you're not going to be able to exercise it and make any money. And this is when we start coming to the place where we start to understand just how important it is to understand how this works, right? Because as you'll find out, if you haven't found out already, right, if you're already trading options, you're probably well aware of just how sensitive these options can be as time decreases, as the premiums erode away, decay away, as opposed to when the option is in the money and there is some value retained for you to exercise your rights and then capture that premium, right? Capture that value, right? So as we continue to move forward, we're going to talk about this in much more detail when we look at specific option strategies and how we're going to use them and what it's going to mean when we do it and how the option is going to respond when certain things happen and what that means for us when we're buying options and what that means when we're selling options, okay? So again, just know that there are option expiration dates, right? There are weekly option expirations. There are standard option expirations. Each underlying asset could have a combination of these, right? Different options have different specifications, and it's important to be aware when we're trading options, the expiration, what day it's expiring, what time it's expiring, and just be aware of what this means, right, when you're buying options versus when you're selling options, right? Because when you buy an option and you're paying that premium, right, the premium can either go up or it can go down, right? So that's where you're going to lose money when you're buying, right? Because if the option doesn't move fast enough, or you buy an out of the money option and you spend a certain amount of money, but then the stock never gets there, or the underlying asset never gets there, well, that option's going to erode away till there's nothing left, and you as the option purchaser lose your initial premium, right? And the person who sold you that option is going to keep that money, right? And on the other side of this, right, if the option is in the money and you've paid money for that option as the purchaser, well, if it's in the money, you can exercise it and you will make potentially a profit on that option depending on how much it's in the money. And the person who sold you that option is going to have to, stay true to their obligation, take the other side of your trade, and they're going to win or lose, right? So again, really important to understand options expiration, and that options are depreciating assets, okay? So again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I will see you in the next video.